It's time to babble the fuck on. It's Hollywood Babble-On.
It's time to
with your hosts, Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman.
Hey, kids. I got caught watching the show already. I was already watching the show. Can you believe it?
I can.
My bad. I'm still watching it. Now I've just pulled it up.
It's been too long. That's why.
It's been so well. I'm a fan of this show as well, Ralph. So I'm just not on it. I also want to watch it, but I got to manage.
You're not only the Hair Club president, you're also a member.
Speaking of Hair Club, look at this.
It's a good look. I like the implants.
Let's start this properly, ladies and gentlemen. It is right now. There's 666 people watching. Minute. It is Monday night in Hollywood. So let's babble the fuck on. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Ralph Garman.
Hey!
What night says party like a Monday night in Hollywood?
You ain't kidding. Look at this. I'm wearing me on my teats. You and me. It is. And fucking, bro, don't undersell Mondays in Hollywood. A Monday in Hollywood is like a Thursday in Connecticut.
That's a good point.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's been a red hot minute, kids, since we've seen y'all, since we've been babbling the fuck on. I went off and made a movie in the
What?
Yeah,
I'm sure I would have heard of that if that was happening.
kept it on the down low, just like my heart attack. Didn't want anybody to know about it,
You're
Ralph.
so secretive.
They call me the J.J. Abrams of the independent film world. I'm a mystery box, Ralph.
You are. You're a conundrum wrapped in a riddle, surrounded by a pita pocket.
Yeah, something like that. But so we went off and made a movie. So right before we started the show, Ralph and I were going like, we got to figure out when to do a live show. And
Indeed.
where, more importantly, where, because from what I understand, you know more than I, our former home, the Hollywood Improv, right there on Melrose, the historic Hollywood Improv, who put us up on the wall.
Yes.
Because at one point we saved the Hollywood Improv, according to Rita.
I don't know about saved, but we certainly helped them more than hurt them.
But what I'm hearing, Ralph, or via Twitter from folks who are Garmy members, folks who follow Ralph and the Ralph Report. If you
Word on the street, Huggy Bear?
Yeah, word on the street from the Ralph Report, where I get all my breaking fucking entertainment news.
Good man.
Go to ralphreport.com. Is that we are no longer welcome at the Improv, and not we, but podcasters, our ilk.
Not exactly that, but we're no longer welcome to play the primo slots on the primo nights.
Oh, is that
so
right?
You know how you and I would sometimes take over the place on a Friday or Saturday night and pack the place, might I add. Now they're
sometimes it was Friday or Saturday night for fucking years and years and years, and
yes,
sold out shows for years and years and years.
Yes. And I don't want this to be a bashing of the Improv, because they're lovely people and they were good to us. We were good to them. And I'm friendly with everybody there. And I don't want people to turn on the Improv, but they have decided to embrace their roots as a classic stand-up comedy club. And they no longer want to have, not just us, it's not personal, but no podcast, because they had Pod Save America, which is a big political podcast that was, also homed there at the Improv. And they don't want any podcast any longer taking up their prime real estate in terms of their slots.
What's that all about?
Well, from what I understand, is they would have sometimes high profile comedians, and this is common in the stand-up business, that would roll in on a Friday and Saturday night and say, let me get up and try some new material in between some folks who were working tonight. And, I just want to jump up there. And that brings a club cachet, if I don't know who, not a Seinfeld or a Jay Leno, but sometimes
Dave Chappelle comes in and says,
exactly,
jump up.
Right. And they say, oh, you can't, because it's not one of those nights. We've got a show going on, a podcast show, and they don't, you can't just jump up there and do a set in the middle of their show. And so they were turning away comics that they would like to develop relationships with. And so they decided to keep those slots strictly stand-up. We were offered a 5 o'clock show on a Saturday, which made me think of like the dinner special at Denny's.
We're the Golden Corral of podcasts now. Like you guys, you're a 5 o'clock show.
You're like an old age home where they would go out to have the early dinner at some diner nearby. I felt like they were saying to us, no, we'll give you a 5 o'clock show. People can roll in and have a snack and watch your podcast.
It's important you guys get on stage while it's still light out.
Because your audience, they need to use their little rascals to get back to the van, to go back to the home.
I felt old when I was writing a thing with my kid, Ralph. And in this thing that I'm writing with my kid, which, by the way, isn't like, oh, we got a hobby. We got hired to write a thing together. They haven't announced what it is yet, and one day I will. But, point is, I'm writing with my child. This kid, mind you, for those who come in late, came out of my balls at one point in this book.
Heck, you say?
I mean, yeah, like she's legit flesh of my flesh, nut of my nut. So me and the kid are writing a thing in which there are adult characters, my age, and there are 20-something characters, closer to her age. Harley's 22. So we're writing this thing, and I'm like, I'm on a good roll here. I think I'm going to take a crack at the scene with the 20-something kids, because
you're hip.
Clerks, bro.
Sure.
Clerks. Me maybe I'd say more.
You're the voice of a generation.
No, so I thought. So write the scene. I felt like, right on, I feel pretty good about this dialogue. Send it off to the kid. Kid, this is the kid's response. Dad, no 20-somethings talk like this. And I was like, so, like, they'll talk the way I tell them to talk. Like, Diablo Cody made a bunch of kids talk in a way nobody talks, and she won an Oscar. So if you're writing, you'll get to dictate the tone. Never mind, like, it should sound a certain way. Like, you get to decide how it should, I felt like,
way to put yourself first, Kevin.
I felt like Principal Skinner, where I'm like, am I wrong? No, it's the children who are, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Did one of the characters go, what's that?
She goes, Dad, no, 20-somethings talk like this. I was like, kiddo, you don't get it. Like, I made my bones as the guy who wrote 20-something dialogue. I'm the king of 20-something dialogue. And she was like, in the 90s, Dad, you're 50. And I was like, I'm 51. And she's like,
I got tagged. Am I bleeding?
Oh, bro, it hurt. It hurt. It hurt to have my kid like tell me that, like, I'm not, the words I'm putting in the mouths of 20-something characters sound like a dad writing dialogue, dadalogue, if you will. It cleaved my heart in twain, but I accept my limitations. Although I still maintain, like, you can make them sound any way you want, so long as you make it work. And, they don't. It
depends on who your audience is, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm supposing 20-something audience would like to have those characters resonate with them, as opposed to me saying, yes, that's exactly what 20-year-olds would sound like. And you're Steve Buscemi in the meme, like, hello, fellow teenagers.
I honestly felt like that. She made me feel so old, bro. I was like, oh my God, who am I kidding? I was like, the critics are right. I'm a fucking joke. Have you been watching the new SNL this season?
I have seen some of it, yes.
So have you seen this dude? I don't know how to say his name. He's got 3 names. One of those cats with 3 names.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He's playing Trump.
Yes.
Number 1, brilliant. But
I fell in love with him on Twitter because he would do just walk and talks doing that impression without makeup or anything, just doing it. I was like, oh my God, the guy has the brain processes of what's going on.
If you do this, it's fucking uncanny how.
Yes.
He's got,
but it's more of the process than it is even the voice, because he takes that crazy circuitous logic thing,
It's not like a gross caricature. It's actually well thought out, where you're like, my God, that kind of is the way he speaks. Regardless, that dude this week, they were doing a sketch that was the advertising awards, the Pepsis, they call them, Audacity and Advertising. And it was hosted by Jake from State Farm and Flo from Progressive. But they looked at these ads, that were like pairing weird companies with weird ads. And they were like, the first is a touching ad between a father and a son. And it was, what's his name? Kyle Mooney as the son. And that new guy, what's his name?
Austin something.
Yes. The new guy as his dad. And he's like, the idea is he's telling the kid, he's like, so I never wanted to come out while, you kids were little, but now that mom's passed, like, I feel better about it coming out. And Kyle is just like, wow. He's like, I miss mom, dad. And he goes, so do I. And then all of a sudden he goes, I wasted my life. And they cut to it was like Facebook portals or something like that to like make a connection. But the I wasted my life fucking had me die. It's one thing to do a really good Trump. It's another thing he did, like the sports announcer guy was dead on, but like the fucking delivery, the woe in this dude's voice in the sketch of like, I've been playing straight my whole life and I wish I'd been it was fucking fantastic. That guy's great. He's like a Phil Hartman.
I'll tell you something. He came out of the chute on episode 1.
James Austin Johnson. That's his name.
Yes, that's it. He came out of the chute on episode 1 of his first time on stage like he had been on SNL for 3 seasons. I was blown away by his composure and his poise and his he stuck the landing. It was pretty impressive.
There's 3 new kids this year. He's been wonderful. This dude, is his name Aristotle?
Aristotle, yeah.
Did you see his sketch where he was the guy who was like
the improvisational singer?
Yes.
That was brilliant.
He was so fucking good. And then the new girl, what was her name? She just did the Weekend Update bit where she just like ranked on Colin Jost.
Oh yeah, okay.
She's been in a couple sketches, but it was a real breakthrough for her. She was funny. It's good, man.
Yeah, good to see new blood.
Jay Ram in chat is going, what blows my mind is people still watch SNL. I don't watch it in real time, but like in a world where I look at a zillion things on YouTube, like why wouldn't I look at that? Particularly, that's the best way to do it, man. You can go through sketches real fast, skip the music. Music was always my least music, not even least favorite part. Like I never watched live music performances unless it was Run DMC or the Talking Heads. I never tuned in for that. I tuned in fucking chuckle and shit.
That's
my hot take, Ralph. In case anyone was like, why'd you tune into SNL? I'm like, I tuned in for the laughs.
You watch the comedy show for comedy?
That's the kind of rebel I am.
You're outside the box, man.
That's why my kid can't deal with me, man.
This is why we can't work together, man, because your takes are just too hot.
Too hot.
By the way, the folks who were saying, oh, you guys are doing your show again together, I thought there was some beef or something. You guys were like fighting or whatever. Why do people just extrapolate shit out of nothing? Where does that come from?
I guess they found out about our beef.
Maybe.
Really? There's some people thought we were beefing?
Yeah. Like, oh, you guys, we've been asking for it and you guys haven't been together and we don't know what's going on. I was like, the dude was off making a major feature film and I have to do a show 5 days a week to pay the bills. We got stuff going on, but there's no beef.
No,
it's weird
whatsoever. But there is also a matter of like, all right, well, where do we go?
It circles back to that. Yeah. So I, with your blessings, am sort of reaching out now to competing comedy clubs in the Los Angeles area, hoping to find something that works for us. And as always, there's a little bit of degree of difficulty because we do like to play video clips and audio clips, and our show is sort of multimedia, and not every club can easily adapt to that. So I'm trying to do the best I can. But
the one in the valley that's on like Lancashire or something like that.
The Ho Ho Hut or whatever it's called.
Yeah. How big is that place?
And not big enough for us. What I'd like to do is maybe get it.
Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. The balls on this guy are as big as you hear about.
Well, if we're going for a club at like the Improv that's at 250, I'd like to maintain at least that size.
The Improv is 200.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all.
And also 200 was the easy mark to hit whenever we had like fucking morning radio to use. This is an uphill battle to fill.
People will flock to us once we reunite and we announce that we're
yeah, for the first show, absolutely. But then we were like, we'll see you next week. They're gonna be like, oh, wait, what? Again?
All right, then we're out. Then we're gonna retire. Then we're gonna take our 10 years and we're gonna get our gold watch and we're gonna sit the fuck down.
No way, man. I'm sure there's how big is that Ho Ho Hut? Is that really its name? The Ho Ho?
No, it's got something Ho Ho or something, the Ho Ho Club or some fucking thing, which I don't think I can even perform there if that's part of their name. Yes.
You're a club snob. That's what you are.
No, but what the fuck place in Jersey in Burbank?
The Ice House.
No, that's in Pasadena.
Oh, my bad. What's the
oh shit. I did a Ralph Report live there and it was great.
Bam.
What about the Ice House? Oh, there's
Flappers. Flappers comedy.
That's it.
Flappers. Big room, at least as big as the Improv. They loved having us there. We're talking to them and trying to see if we can work something out. So
done and done. My God.
Let me ask you, do you want to do something like pre-New Year's, like at the end of this year, or do you want to wait to the beginning of next, or what's your
game to do? I'm game whenever.
But I know you're still in post and you're still editing and putting things together and everything. So I don't.
No shit's here. I know I'm going back east for like the weekend of December 4th and 5th, but other than that, I'm back here.
You're in town
till the end. Don't forget, December 7th, you have a thing to shoot.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. I do.
Well, then you can't forget it. Now that you've been told, they haven't fucking reached out to you yet.
No, sir.
December 7th in Pasadena. No, Glendale. No, JC. Banff, man.
Banff.
Glendale or Pasadena?
I think it's Glendale.
So I'm supposedly working on that day.
Yeah. Take you all of 10 minutes.
Good to know. All right.
It's
I'll talk to my people. I'll see if I can swing it.
We could always come to you. It's that convenient. These are the pickups for the folks that we weren't like, come all the way to New Jersey to say one thing. The way it's constructed is we were able to do a whole, fucking run of pickups out here with our famous friends who could not join us. Ralph was going to come out to Jersey at one point, but our dates switched and jumped around. And like he said, he's got the show 5 days a week. So he was like, wait,
I was close because I was in Philly, but it was for the funeral for my mom and dad.
By the way, how did that go?
It was great. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Good times.
Party.
Never imagined losing my parents would lead to such a wonderful night, but my God,
we nuts. That cemetery went off.
Did you scatter ashes or you put them in the ground? Or
no? My family has a plot in a cemetery in Philadelphia, and the plan was always for my parents to be interred there when they both passed. So we held on to mom's ashes for years, and then when my dad went, we had him cremated, and then we took their urns back to Philadelphia and put them into the family plot. That's what they wanted. So that was that trip. But it was within, you guys were shooting at the time, but we just couldn't work out the plan.
Welcome to Burial Babble-On, ladies and gentlemen. Your hosts, old and older.
Let's talk dead parents. Hey, call us now if you will. 1-800-BABBLE. Tell us your stories about burying your parents.
How goes the Ralph Report, my friend? Plug away.
Spectacular. The Garmy is just, the best bunch of people you can ask for. And they show up in a big, bad way. Every week now we pick a new charity and we raise money for charity. It varies from week to week, but it's been, I know it sounds so fucking corny, but it's just, it chokes me up every time because these people keep showing up. We have got a member, one of our own family, a Garmy member who's currently dealing with cancer, who has a 7-year-old son, and he doesn't know how much his insurance will cover and how much of a Christmas this kid will have. And they had a GoFundMe page, and they were asking for $2,500 to cover any out-of-pocket medical expenses and to give something a little extra for the kid for Christmas, at his 7-year-old. And then so we started talking about it on the show, and we've now raised over $12,000 for this family. And these are those people. They're just, and it stems from this. I mean, it comes from the folks who first found me through Babble-On, but also some folks who knew me from the radio show. But it's just incredible how kind and loving, but also fun and funny these people are. So it's just been a great, we're going into, it's going to be 4 years in a couple of months that I've been doing.
I was going to say, how long you been doing it?
Almost 4 years. And it's 5 days a week, and it's a lot of work, but it's just been awesome. And so, yeah, it's going great. And this week on Thursday, I'll be talking to Steve Franks. I don't know if you know Steve or not, but he's the creator of a show called Psych from USA. And now
you're a big fan of that show.
I'm a big fan of Psych, and they're doing TV movies now as follow-ups to that show. So he'll be a guest, and we got a good week coming up. But it's a lot of work, and it's still a one-man operation. Eddie Pence is my guy who sits with me here on the show and works with me, but it's great. I'm just having a blast. But again, with you working in the movies and me doing this, it's not as easy for us to hook up for Babble as it used to be. But COVID also played a role in that. It's not all our decision.
I got a bunch of folks when I posted today, like, hey, we're going to do Babble-On. Like Michael C. in chat is like, oh my God, I'm completely out of the loop. Is this the first Babble-On in forever? It's the first Babble-On in like a red hot minute, because I was off making a movie. But prior to this, we have been doing Hollywood Babble-On caped commentaries
weekly.
Yeah, weekly, as we continue to roll through the Batman show. But this is the first on camera we've done in a minute, and a nice way to dip our toe back in the pool before we start taking it on the road. I've been out in the world. Like, I went out last week touring with this motion picture, Clerk, which comes out on November 23rd, is a documentary about my life. So I went with Malcolm to Austin, to the Paramount Theater. I went to Jersey to Smodcastle, showed it there twice. Went to St. Louis to the Pageant, Chicago to the Music Box Theater. Then I went up to Toronto to the Queen Elizabeth, and then I went over to Vancouver to the Rio. So I was in rooms with hundreds of people again. Some of them fucking sold out. Some places people are still like, I don't know if I want to go out yet. Other places people happy to go out. All the venues were like, you had to be vaccinated to get in and stuff. So I felt safe as a kitten. Plus, I've been vaccinated and I got my booster, so I ain't really that worried. I'm not trying to get it, and I believe I could get it, but I stand on stage pretty damn far from the fucking crowd and stuff.
Right.
So it was thrilling. My point being to get back into a room with living people reacting to you in the moment in that space. It's just I have been enjoying interacting with the fans. Like during the quarantine, we've been doing the movies pop-up, so I was still able to go to places and interact with fans. But oh my Lord, being able to jump on stage and rock the mic, fucking Q&A, fucking throw a fucking setup and then a well-placed punchline and have the room it's just, I missed it so fucking much. So I got greedy for it. The sooner we could do a live Babble-On here in town, the better.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm looking forward to it. I'm doing a show in December on a Sunday at the Improv, of all places, that a buddy of mine is putting together. That is a Christmas music and comedy show, all Rat Pack themed, and I will be hosting as the ghost of Frank Sinatra. And I can't wait to get on stage in front of an audience again and feel that fight or flight vibe of, okay, if this is gonna land, if we're gonna get a laugh here, we're gonna die. I mean, I just love that energy.
Didn't you get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
I did get the J&J, yes.
So cut to old-timey comic Ralph Garman dies after catching COVID at the Improv.
I'm boosted. I boosted up. We're fine.
That sounds fun. Fuck, man. And you get to act too. So it's not just like I'm going to be funny on stage. You actually get to perform on stage.
Yeah, well,
roots. That's it. That's the roots.
It's an impression. So I've got a little experience doing that in front of people's faces. So.
Some actors have won Oscars for their impressions.
I've heard tale of that sort of thing, but I don't know if that's me or not.
We are in Hollywood and we are babbling on, but I guess people want us to do Hollywood Babble-On. I saw a few people bitching in chat about like, do your fucking backstage shit on your own time. I forgot the show costs so much money to them. We should do exactly what the audience wants.
When you announced this, I saw so many about fucking times. I was like, what have we done to people to make them so agitated about a free show?
You made them love you and then you took it all away, man.
Well, talk to the virus, man.
You're fucking you were like Ted Lasso and they're all like Ned.
Yeah, right.
Nate. They're all like fucking like you pump me up and then you turn your back on me.
Turn me down.
How awesome is that Ted Lasso show?
Amazing. I don't know if you saw my Halloween costume or not, but I went full Ted Lasso. That was my Halloween costume this year.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I was in the tracksuit and the visor and the
I'll tell you, man,
Ray-Bans and the mustache.
That's how good that show is, because that's a Trekley little show in many ways, right? Very much about kindness, very much has a sweetheart running through it. And other than you weeping at like fucking
tale as old as time,
even friends, then somebody bends and offers up their ass. That's like, that makes you emotional. To hear that a Ted Lasso works on you, if I was the people who made Ted Lasso, if I was Apple TV, I'd put that on the fucking poster. Even Ralph Garman finds it touching.
Even his black heart was moved.
Does it make you cry? Have you cried watching it?
I have, yes. The funeral episode. You watch season 2? Have you watched season 2 yet?
I've rewatched it, and
yeah. The funeral episode with Rebecca's dad and Lasso talking about his dad and stuff. Yeah, that was
cutting in that was fucking brilliant.
Genius. Yeah.
Great. Cool.
By the way, tale as old as time doesn't make me cry anymore. So let that go.
What happened?
Now I'm into, because you ruined it, because you just bludgeoned me with it to the point where I'm numb now. I can't feel anything anymore thanks to you. But now I'm into Coco's Remember Me from the Disney movie Coco.
Oh, remember me.
Though I have to travel far, remember me.
Those Pixar movies dare you not to fucking end your own life out of fucking sadness.
Oh my God. And he's singing to his little daughter in the afterlife. And for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that whole thing, that's a wonderful movie. But I think if you're in our line of work, that movie hit harder because, it's all about like, God, I hope fucking this was all for something. You're hoping they remember you today.
Right.
Let alone fucking like after you've died or something. I remember watching that movie and crying alongside my kid, but for completely different fucking reasons than she was crying. Mine were more selfish, where I'm like, they're going to forget me. I know it.
That's why you gave her the rights to sell all the Kevin Smith merch after you're gone.
Now I'm just stealing my boy's shit from fucking like, I wasted my life. That made me laugh so hard, dude. I rewound that shit 10 times in the middle of the night.
That reminds me of
am I high or is this funny? And it was legit funny.
That reminds me of the paraplegic stuck on the it's a small world ride on Disney. All right, man. Angst. All right, people complaining enough of our talking and our friendship. They want us to get to fucking bits. Should we do that now?
They want they want bits. They're like, be fucking funny. That's what we pay you for.
Dance, monkey.
On the free show. Well, yes, sir.
All right, let's talk about dead people in show business, shall we?
And now another edition of Tinseltown Stiffs. They will be missed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're going to start the show with the deaths for heaven's
sake? Yeah, I am. Yeah. I like a challenge. Winter the Dolphin is dead. Winter the Dolphin. Nothing? No recognition?
I tell you, well, I just hope that she lived her porpoise.
And we're back. Winter the Dolphin inspired Dolphin Tale and its sequel, Dolphin Tale 2, the story of a dolphin who lost her tail in a crab trap line and had to have a prosthetic tail and learn how to swim again.
This is interpretive dance of your news story.
And she was an inspiration not only to other dolphins, Kevin, who loved that film, I assume, but folks who had prosthetic limbs of their own who took inspiration from her story.
Look, I have a small dick and I was inspired by the fucking story.
Right? Because you wear a prosthetic cock quite often.
It's in my head. It's not real, but in my head, I have to mount up before I mount up, if you will.
Have you looked into the Baldo?
What is the Baldo?
The Baldo is a brand new revelation in sex toys. It's a sex toy that is dildo shaped, but you insert your testicles into the dildo, and then you use spacers to stretch your scrotum and enlarge your scrotum to fill it with, to make it turgid. And then you insert that into your partner instead of your penis.
Why?
Well, not only for her pleasure, but the creators of the Baldo claim that the sensitivity of the skin on the scrotum can actually lead a man to have a ballgasm.
A ballgasm?
That's what they call it. Yes. And I've purchased one. I own one. I just haven't had a chance to try it out yet. So I'll keep you posted.
A ballgasm sounds so fucking threatening.
Really?
Put that fucking ballgasm in her mouth right now. Put it in her mouth. Like, oh, please don't make me do this. Put it.
Not ball gag, ballgasm. It's a very different thing.
Ballgasm is it's a dark. Instantly, it doesn't invoke good times.
It's like an orgasm, but with your balls. I'll let you know how it works out. I'll keep you posted.
And now another edition of Tinseltown Stiffs. They will be missed.
Somebody else died.
Who?
Gavin O'Herlihy. Gavin O'Herlihy.
Was that the first Chuck?
Shut the front door. Look at you. Yes, that's exactly who that was. It was Chuck Cunningham, the eldest brother of the Cunningham family.
That's the oldest internet joke in the world, even before there was an internet. Even as far back as the 70s, we were all talking about whatever happened to Chuck, man. He just went upstairs and never came back downstairs, and they stopped talking about him. What the fuck?
That was a meme. You're right. Before there were memes, we talked about
time. There was a time before continuity. TV shows didn't have fucking continuity. Sitcoms, they were just half hours and, loosely strung together over a year or whatever. But like the idea of like going, hey man, whatever happened to Chuck and how come you guys stopped talking about him? Like they were like, who gives a shit? Moving forward.
Literally, that is the diagnosis of what 70s television was, which was, it's just a distraction. Nobody's supposed to take it too seriously. A character can come, a character can go. It just doesn't matter. Just watch us for half an hour, buy the products, and then go about your life. But he died at the age of 70. So Chuck Cunningham is gone.
Speaking of a Gary Marshall character, Gary Marshall, as we all know, created Happy Days. So Chuck sprang forth from the pen of the great Gary Marshall.
Yes.
Well as Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, and so forth and so on. Just recently, it was Felix Unger Day, which yes. I guess 2 days ago, because it was November 13th. And if you ever watched the Odd Couple, the show began with the opening credit sequence, the voiceover going like, on November 13th, Felix Unger's wife threw him out or whatever the fuck.
And she requested that he never return.
Deep down, he knew she was right. But that threw me down the rabbit hole of like, oh, I'm going to go watch the opening credits to fucking The Odd Couple on YouTube, even though I hated The Odd Couple when I was a child.
What?
I did. I hated it. Couldn't stand it.
I love that show.
When I grew up, I understood it and liked it a lot. But as a kid, it just meant that like all the kid programming was over. No more cartoons because these old men are gonna fucking throw spaghetti at the wall. Fuck that. So I had a resentment to them. Meanwhile, I liked the Oddball Couple, which was a cartoon version with a very fastidious cat and a
Fleabag.
Yes, well done. In watching the opening credits, you know, if you're well studied in this bullshit, we all know that Neil Simon created The Odd Couple.
Right.
It was a movie starring Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau.
It was a Broadway play before it was a movie.
Before that, it was a Broadway play. Gary Marshall developed The Odd Couple for television.
True.
A show that had maybe 10 years of episodes?
Yes.
Before fucking Happy Days, bro.
Yes.
Like, this dude was a giant, like so fucking prolific. If he was living and working today, Gary Marshall would be like Shonda Rhimes plus Ryan Murphy plus fucking
times Dick Wolf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, this dude fucking worked, man. Like, because when you think about how long all those shows went on, like this dude figured out a fucking formula. And yes, like some of the formulas were borrowed from overseas, right? Like, was he one of those guys?
No, that was Norman Lear. That was his
Norman
shtick.
Lear. You're right. So Gary Marshall was like, well, Gary Marshall he bit from George Lucas for Happy Days because that's
Happy Days came before American Graffiti came out.
The fuck you say?
It's true.
Look,
and
you say this to
Happy
me.
Days couldn't get sold until American Graffiti came out after the fact and was a big hit, and then suddenly they wanted a 50s program.
Is that right?
It's true. He created the pilot for Happy Days before American Graffiti. It didn't fly. He sold it to ABC and they turned it into an episode of Love American Style to burn off the pilot. And then afterwards, American Graffiti was released, and then the appetite for 50 shows became so enormous, he was able to recycle that idea and sell it again to ABC.
All right, so that was in the 70s.
Yes.
So in the 70s, they were into the 50s, which means in the 80s, they were into the 60s, which means in the 90s, they were into the 70s, which means in the aughts, they were into the 80s, which means they should be into the 90s right about now, right?
This should be your time.
Right?
Yes.
Fucking should be ascendant, man. This should be the moment that I get my comeback and shit. Like fucking once a lunar, whatever the fuck.
Forget Clerks 3. Clerks, the sitcom. That's where the money is.
Oh, if only. It's so crazy. I never like got into it for the loot. I wonder if Gary.
Well, change that attitude.
I can't. I'm too old. You can't. Fucking old dog, new tricks, licking ball, something like that. Do you think Gary Marshall was in it for the money?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he always wanted to make strictly commercial, across the board, populist entertainment. He never had any desires to be artistic in any way. If you talk to the cast of Pretty Woman, which again, you talk about this guy being a TV monster, then he went on to direct and shepherd one of the biggest romantic comedies, of the era. They always said They always said he was just about just make the people laugh. That's all I want. I don't want you to do so much work where everybody's looking for artistic stuff. I just want the laughs. Just get laughs from people. Then we'll be happy.
It's like he's back.
Thank you.
Wow, man. You're the Austin James Johnson Gordon of this fucking bitch, man. You just fucking channeled the great GM himself. I met him once late in his life. We talked about on Babble-On, I think, when he passed.
Yeah.
And I got to tell him, like, hey, man, I told his sister, because she came to the house, Penny, and fucking did, well, it sounded like it was going to be juicy, right? She fucking came to the house.
In the house.
She Laverne to my Shirley, but she came to the house and did a series of podcasts with me, and she was wonderful. But I blew her up about, like, I love her work, but I was like, your brother made one of my favorite movies of all time, Nothing in Common.
Yeah, that's
Jackie
great.
Gleason and Tom Hanks, like one of Tom Hanks's best performances of all time. So I got to tell him that years later. I met him and I was like, oh my God, I wish I'd put that guy on a podcast. I wish I'd.
Can you imagine the stories?
Oh, fuck. I would have been sitting there being like, hey, man, thank God for American Graffiti, you George Lucas biting son of a bitch. And he would have been like, here, give me the fuck. I was going to do an impression, but there's Gary Marshall right there.
The story is that first, before Lucas, there was me. I was the guy who wanted 50s before nobody wanted 50s. And then they came to me after the Lucas and they said, yes, give me a 50s. And I'll give you a check. And that's what I cared about was the check at the time.
See, kids, what you forgot was Hollywood Babble-On is all about talking about our dead parents and doing impressions of octogenarians, creatives who just, they're not even around anymore. But if you grew up in the 70s, all of that shit was gold.
I distinctly heard you say Wayne Newton Schmuck. You remember his turn in Lost in America with Albert Brooks?
Oh, he's fantastic in Lost in America.
Fucking hell.
Santa Claus isn't real.
No, Santa Claus is Christmas. Las Vegas gambling. Las Vegas gambling. They go together. The best.
How down are you? Down. How down is she? Down.
All right. You seem like a nice kid. Rooms comped. Meals comped.
After they lost the nest egg.
Yes. You don't get to say
you
nest
give
or
back.
egg.
You give
now
us back our nest.
Bird lives in a round stick. And you have things and bacon for breakfast.
If we give you back your money, then we have to give everybody back their money.
All right, now I want to go watch Gary Marshall. Hey, we got some headlines. You want to talk about some showbiz news?
Fuck yeah, man. That's what I come for.
Give me head, give me head, give me headlines, and give me head.
Somebody wrote on Twitter, yes, finally Mike Fellatio again. I was like, that probably won't happen, but you made it happen. God bless you. Hey, are you relieved our long national nightmare is over and Britney Spears is finally free of her conservatorship? Because
good for her, man. Good for her, because here come the dishy details, man. She's been making noises about like they're all gonna pay. Yeah. They're all gonna pay, and I'm here for it, man. She's got the receipts, bro. She's got over a decade in fucking imprisoned by her own family. She's already making noises about like that fucking sister of mine. So I can't wait. Now she's gonna be unleashed. She's going to tell us everything.
Why does everybody care so much? I can't wrap my head around it.
I hadn't honestly really, she was after my time. She was like the next decade, the aughts.
Me too.
But of course I'm well aware of her. She's a cultural fucking phenomenon. But
of course.
I didn't know anything about I remember when she shaved her head. I didn't know that fucking they used that to like trap her for over a decade and like told her like you can't have a baby even if you want to. Like all of it was mind-numbing. And suddenly you were able to watch like 2 different documentaries about the subject and you were a Britney Spears fucking expert, if not a fan. You can't help but walk away going like, oh fucking, I feel bad for this kid who I never thought about in my entire fucking life. But like, how can you be this fucking famous and still be a victim, still be victimized? And that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like fucking, so even though I got no skin in the game, it is kind of fucking fascinating. And I do like the fact that she's been out there, like not being like, well, it all worked out, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Like, I think she's gonna start like just burning it all down. And I'm here for it, man.
I will be intrigued to find out as we dig deeper what really went on, because I've been involved in people in my life who have, if not mental illness, but have issues. And they often talk like she has talked in the past, which is everybody's against me and they won't let me do this and they won't let me do that. And I don't doubt her position at all in terms of feeling real to her, but those aren't always necessarily the facts. So I think it'll be interesting to watch things flesh out one way or the other. But the bottom line for me, the fascination for me was the amazing response by the American public. There was dancing in the streets. There was partying in the streets when her conservatorship was ended. And it's hard to get people show up for a climate crisis protest. But when it comes to this stuff.
Hey, run her for fucking president.
Oh, yes. Finally. Let's just go down in a bag of flames. Why not?
Why? Well, how could it be any worse?
You're right.
You know, she seems to be pretty smart lady. Very
make
talented.
A big splash.
I'm happy for her, man. Good for her. Everybody should fucking be the captain of their own destinies, particularly when she's a grown ass woman, man.
That's true.
And she's got fucking kids, and like they use those kids to control her. The whole thing's fucking sad and sick. But what you're not taking into consideration, Raphael, is that this girl she's not a girl, not yet a woman, but she has grown up with the American public. You know, first it was the Mickey Mouse Club, then it was her own shindig, man, her own agency, as we thought.
She is us.
Yeah, or she's been a part of, like, I remember I told this story recently somewhere, so I forget where it was, and I'll tell it again. One and only time I met Robin Williams was when we were making Good Will Hunting. We were on the Toronto set, and they were shooting the scene in the bar where he goes to the bartender, "Hey, what's this guy?" And he's like, "Oh, that's the Unabomber." Like, he's like, "Hey, who's Ted Kaczynski?" He's like, "That's the Unabomber." Like, that scene there was a scene in the bar, and then he was kind of augmenting it. It was so funny because this was pre-hardcore internet. You're talking about 1997, 1996, 97. So Ben and Matt were like, since they wrote the script, Robin wanted to do a thing where he referenced three people, and they were brilliant people, and this guy never heard of him, but then he referenced Ted Kaczynski, and this guy did hear of him.
Yeah.
So he was like, I need to get there. So I need a bunch of details on the guy. And I'll never forget, like, those dudes not going, like, today you would just open up your Google app and fucking be like, let's go to the wiki for Ted Kaczynski, and, you know, we'll pull a bunch of lines and stuff.
Right.
Literally had to pull books. There were books being brought to the bar that they could fucking encyclopedia type thing that they could go through and be like, okay, and pull out things so that Robin could construct the line he wanted to do. Anyway, that's a side story. One that I haven't actually really told before. I'm pretty impressed by that. The real story that I wanted to tell was this. When I met him, we were going into the bar. He was going into the bar. It was a bar in Toronto. And a bunch of people from outside, the Torontonians who knew there was a movie shooting. And don't forget, Ben and Matt were not Ben and Matt at this point.
Right.
They would become Ben and Matt off of this movie, but they've definitely been in some stuff. Matt had just been in like a big role in Courage Under Fire with like Meg Ryan and Denzel Washington. But, you know, Ben was coming off, Mallrats and Chasing Amy, if that. I don't even know if Chasing Amy was out yet when they shot. Yeah, no, it was definitely out. So people outside the bar are going, Mork!
Oh, jeez.
Now, and mind you, this is Robin Williams, like, Good Will Hunting, of course, he wins an Oscar, but he's already fucking pretty damn famous. This is Robin Williams of Hook fame at this point, of fucking Good Morning Vietnam fame, of fucking Dead Poet Society fame.
Right.
Maybe even Patch Adams. I forget where that was in the run, but like, he was already a fucking movie star, a bona fide 100% fucking movie star who hadn't been on TV in a dog's age. And yet there were people outside going, Mork. So, you know, I'm talking like I'm in my, at that point, 28 or whatever the fuck. So I'm still like trying to be cool, Kevin Smith. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you must hate hearing Mork. And he's like, no, I actually like it. He's going, I like it a lot. I was going, but it's Mork, like it was from years ago. And he's like, that's the power of television. He's going, like, when you're in a movie, they go to a movie theater and they see you. And so you're an entity outside of their world. When you're in their home every week, you are family. And so like them yelling Mork, like I was a big part of their lives And still to this day, even though I've done a bunch of other things, like that resonates because, you know, I was, and it's something that like at the time I was like, yeah, I guess so. And, you know, years later after I did Clerks and Mallrats, and those movies still have fucking resonance and not nearly the same situation as much as he was on fucking TV and a bona fide TV hit. But people like the audience I've had, a lot of them take me into their heart because of the specific time that they watch the movie that it's tied to. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll still, even though I can make fucking yoga hosers and they'll be like, yeah, but when he made fucking that Clerks picture.
Always fucking yoga hosers.
Because that was the last one that they really shit on. Justly, not right or anything, but just, all right, I'll say Tusk.
Thank you.
We made that fucking Tusk picture or something, which by the way, you were in as well. So
but just this.
Can't escape
yoga hosers, I was in this.
That damn Red State movie with the non-talky fuck. It's just like,
you need a series. That's what it all comes down to.
Is it?
Remember that sitcom pilot we tried to put together for that competition thing they were doing over at CBS where you were the manager of the movie theater? That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was so good. That was good times. All right. What were we fucking?
I don't know. Doesn't matter though. We're still talking about headlines. This is the only headline I care about because this is the fucking hottest showbiz story going, and everyone keeps talking about it. And I don't quite understand the hubbub, as the kids say. Are you familiar with Sophia Urista? Lead singer for a band called Brass Against.
Oh, I was not familiar with this woman until 2 a.m. the other night.
This week, now you know who she is.
Yeah, because I saw a video that I probably would have watched on Pornhub if they put it in the right category. Did you see that video?
Did I? I can't stop seeing it.
You're like, I saw it. All right.
I've got it on a loop
twice. It is. Yeah, it's. Well, I mean, here. For those who are unfamiliar, normally on Babble-On we'd run a clip and shit, but I would caution against it. Anytime I try to run a clip on YouTube, even if it's a fucking trailer for something I've done, they pull our show off the air or something. I get on fucking notice from YouTube.
We can paint a picture with words. It's fine.
And also you could just Google, what is it? Just Google
Sophia Urista or Brass Against or Daytona and any combination of those. Or peeing on stage.
A guy gets up on stage and he's laying down and she like squats over him, pulls her pants, not all the way down, but down enough.
She drops trowel. Yeah.
Drops trowel, but tastefully so, I would say.
I do too.
And that's the last tasteful thing that happens because then right after that, she sprays this motherfucker.
Well, in her defense, she had been saying on stage for a while that she had to pee really badly and she couldn't get off stage to do it. So we might as well make it part of the show. And she brought an eager, willing young man up on stage who had a GoPro strapped to his head, apparently.
Did he really?
That's what she said. She calls him out. She goes, I want the guy with the camera strapped to his head. Apparently he was wearing a GoPro videoing the concert, I assume. Brought him up on stage, laid him down, and then she proceeded to give him the most golden of showers.
I mean, I wish I was at that show.
Right? That's what I keep saying.
I'm really not a big fan of live music. It's too loud. Once again, this is the old man show. Older, ladies and gentlemen. Statler and Waldorf. And, it's been years since I've enjoyed live music because you never hear the lyrics. All you hear is the instruments and stuff. But I'd go for some live music if somebody was like, oh, no, stick around 4 or 5 songs in. You're going to see some fucked up shit.
That's rock and roll.
In one way, when I looked at that clip, I was like, look, I'm a 51-year-old man, admittedly, and we live in an age where COVID and germs have, fucking taken a lot of people out and stuff. And I'm trying to be a responsible person, but, I was like, isn't that what rock and roll is? Like fucking pushing it to the edge. And
I'm with you, pal. I was all over that. I'm going to follow this band forever. Unfortunately, they're only touring in Europe right now, but
did you say I'm going to follow this band forever?
I'm going to be like one of those guys who follow fish in a van selling falafel in the parking lot. This is going to be my new thing. I'm just going to follow around Brass Against.
Like, why don't you and Ralph do Babble anymore? Are you fighting? I'm like, no. Fucking fighting for his attention because he won't take it away from urinating Eurista. He's following him on tour. He's in a van following Brass Against with a GoPro stapled to his forehead, hoping one night she'll call him out of the crowd. Problem is, you will never get that show again.
Well, they've already said, they apologized and said, this isn't us as a band. I would beg to differ and say, well, apparently it is. And she's apologized. And she said she even cleaned up the stage afterwards. I'm thinking you're missing the point of the act, but God bless.
Yeah, all of it was just like, as it was going on, I was like, I mean, I'm not going to say it was flat out Gigi Allen, but there were elements, an air of Gigi Allen to it. And as much as
Iggy Pop and all those guys, it was definitely a punk move.
It was.
And it helps that she's a lovely, fit lesbian, I think, which adds to the whole the mystique of the whole event. It's just magical.
I've seen clips where they put a little blurry patch.
Don't spend your time on those clips.
I was like, now wait a second. This is the internet. There's no way they're all blocked out. And then there's where it's not like you can see anything. She's on a profile angle, but it's because I was looking to be like, can't be. This got to be an act. This is like Guar or some such shit. Like, there's no way it's real piss.
This is Gene Simmons spitting up blood at a Kiss show.
After I watched that clip, I was like, there's no way that's not real piss.
With force.
Do you see that dude? He fucking like free willies it, like does a mist and shit, blows it out.
Yeah. Reminded me of my youth.
Is he, oh my God. Is there follow-up? Is he happy, unhappy?
Oh, happy as a clam. Just couldn't be happy. Happy as Larry, as the Brits say.
Like, I rethought about it. Now that everyone's laughed at me, I don't want in anymore.
No, he's got the best souvenir ever from a show.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, look, is there anything or anybody you're a big enough fan of in this world that you'd take a face full of their piss? The fact that you're even fucking thinking about it tells me there's about 12.
There are people I would experience the VIP backstage experience with. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Putting the P back in VIP.
Put the P back in VIP. Look, as long as that guy's happy. I mean, it is weird though, right? Like you're doing a like, let's say you own that venue. And you're like, oh, I love to see the young people get with their rocks and rolls and their boogieing. And all of a sudden this person squats and pisses all over your stage. And you're like, what the fuck?
Again, I reiterate, Sophia cleaned it up after the gig. So
I mean,
come on.
Even so, I'm going to come over your house, piss all over your kitchen table. But I'm like, don't worry, I'm going to clean it up.
You know, urine is mostly sterile. Of all the bodily fluids, it's probably the safest.
What about if it's coming out of a dog?
I've never entered into that part of the conversation.
I got a dog. Remember Mad Mardigan, my dog? She's blind, deaf, and she can't get up with the back legs, so she can move these legs and stuff. So she's basically a piss and poop and piece of furniture.
Right.
And as a guy who like every hour on the hour wakes up, this is love, kids. And some people are like, you shouldn't keep a dog around that long. Bullshit. My vet, who's a great vet, and he'd be the first to tell us, like, kill this fucking dog, man. It's too late. He's like, is she eating? I was like, every day, like a fucking little pig. A big fat pig. Like the dog can't move. And so guess what? She's like 95 pounds. He's like, as long as that dog is eating and drinking, that dog does not want to die. He's like, that dog will let you know when she wants to go the moment she stops eating and drinking. And so, this dog is eating and drinking us out of house and home. All it is like poo and pee material I feed in one side and clean up out the others. Every hour on the hour, I get up with her, man, like, because she either needs a drink or fucking has to take a whiz or fucking has to take a shit. And I don't bitch about doing it, because when we were coming home from Clerks 3, Jennifer was like, I think Marty's about to die. We're going to have to put Marty down. And that was like, I was crestfallen. Like, this ain't my dog, so to speak. Jen was the one that brought this dog into our lives, but I've become very fond of the fucking dog. And I do feel like, because we went and shot the movie in Jersey and we were gone for 2 months, that dog, she didn't know, like, fucking, there were people here, but the 2 people that she's so used to living with in that room and shit, constantly showered affection and attention on her, were gone. And Jen felt like when she came home that the dog was like dying of a broken heart and shit. And then the 2 of us coming back, the dog is completely fucking rallied. That being said, she's rallied, but she's still blind, still deaf, and still can't fucking move. So she still remains a pooing or peeing piece of furniture. But
so she's punishing you for having been gone for so long. Now you will clean up my feces and my urine.
Well, let me tell you. Well, that's why I go back to this core question here. If urine is sterile, does that mean dog urine is sterile too?
I don't believe so. Dog urine is filled with ammonia, from what I understand. Not so much with human beings.
Why? Why don't we have ammonia in our piss?
Geez, talk to your God. I don't know. I don't know how to fix
Why is he
problems.
my fucking God? I made Dogma, bro. Years ago, as a matter of fact.
I'm not sure. I'm not a specialist in the field. I'm not a urologist. But to the best of my knowledge, dog urine is filled with ammonia. That's why it kills the grass where they go, and not so much humans.
So if I go out and if I had a yard, I got a back deck because this is fucking the Hollywood Hills. But if I had grass in my backyard and I went and took a leak on the grass every day in the same spot, I wouldn't burn the grass like dogs do.
No, you would not.
How do you fucking know? Why do you know that? I guess because you have a daily podcast where you have to come up with interesting factoids.
I'm constantly looking for, and I have a backyard with grass and a dog, and I also pee in the backyard.
You go out there every morning and you're like, I'm a single man, and you put your hands on your fucking back of your head.
It's bachelor time, baby.
Sprinkler that shit. You're like,
good morning, Van Nuys.
The neighbors are like, that Garman guy's out there pretending he's a fucking
rainbird.
Yeah, look at
my land.
He won't let the dog piss in the yard. Oh no, but look at him pissing all over. I heard him bragging about having some of that ammonia-free piss.
I'm making my claim. Yeah. No, but I've also I won't get into that.
Oh no, how do you don't fucking bury that lead? You're like,
well, I've been involved in situations with women where that has been part of the sex play. And so I'm aware that that's not an
wait, what? Don't just roll past that. What, piss play, like golden shower?
Yeah. Everybody's tried it.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, they have. They say it or they don't.
Half of our 1,300 audience just tuned out. They're like, ew, you Hollywood piss player. What is
show costs the same either way.
What Ralph Water Sports Garman? What when was that a thing?
This was in my 20s. I had an experience with a girl, and it went differently than I expected.
It went warm.
I've had this conversation before on the Ralph Report. We've talked about this, but we were engaged in what one would call a 68, in the sense that she was on top of my. It was a 69, and then she sat up, and I was still doing my job. And she was
just sitting on your face.
Yes, and she was very excited, and she was really enjoying herself.
That was a long way to go for she was sitting on your face. She was like, you're like,
I'm trying to be a little bit delicate.
So technically a 68.
Trying to be delicate. So she was sitting on my face and she was really enjoying herself, and she started getting more and more excited. And she said to me rather vocally, drink me. And I assumed she meant she was so wet from excitement that I would have to drink her, and that's not what she meant at all. And she released in my mouth on my face, and that was her thing. That's what got her excited, and it was fine.
Did you drink her?
Of course.
The fuck?
I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman.
Couldn't you have just pretend and be like, oh, I'm drinking, it's good, and then spit it out the side and shit?
There's thighs. You can't.
You're one of those heat of the moment people, aren't you?
Yes, and I'm also a method actor. You know that about me. So
don't blame this on the arts. Don't you bring the craft.
I was researching a role.
Little piss playing fuck. Wow, man. This is the fucking hottest episode of Hollywood Babble-On in a long time.
Well, we're back. We got to bring it, right?
This is the piss warmest episode of Hollywood Babble-On in a long time.
Yeah.
Wow, man. You're like an onion with many layers. And
I've lived a life, Kevin Smith.
You really have. You've lived this life. A lot of people, are just
every man is born, but not every man truly lives.
No kidding. You're the Mel Gibson of this fuck. Well, maybe not him. The William Wallace of this fuck. Man, oh man, you did just suck the fucking nectar and marrow out of this bitch. Good for you.
Literally.
Yeah, fuck.
All right, let's get to our last showbiz story.
Now, single man pissing in his fucking lawn in his backyard. Where are you now?
Life changes, Kevin.
It's like the end of fucking Casino. You got real big glasses. Live in a one room.
We're like Goodfellas. I'm picking up a newspaper in the front lawn, drinking tomato sauce for gravy.
I'm a schmuck like everybody else.
That's right.
What else you got news wise?
Justin Bieber, nobody fucking needs ya. You wanna know why? I'll tell you why. 'Cause you're a little cunt.
Wow,
something we haven't heard for a minute.
So different without 200 people screaming it back at you.
I know, we'll get there.
Sometimes more. At our biggest, I think we had an audience of 1,500 screaming, "You're a little cunt."
I think you're right. Wasn't even more in the UK? Were we doing that bit when we did the first show at the
because that place is big. How big is that place?
That was like 6,000, wasn't it?
Hammersmith Apollo.
The Hammers Apollo, yeah. Bieber's in business with Tim Hortons. Did you see this? Broke my heart.
Hey man, Tim Hortons is a Canadian company. Bieber is a Canadian company, as much as he doesn't cop to it that much, but here he is copping to it. Would I have preferred they give that money to a true Canadian legend, a la a Eugene Levy or something like that? Or an Alanis Morissette? Yes. Do I understand what they did? I mean, maybe they're trying to sell, fucking Timbits to an audience that ain't buying it. But I mean, who is the Bieber audience at this point? I'm not denying he has one, but how old are they?
I have to assume 20 somethings. I don't think he's attracting the teeny bopper audience that he came up with. I have to assume there are people who followed his career up till now, because he's certainly not generating white hot music right now.
They don't Snoogans, ladies and gentlemen. Snoogans.
Weed of champions.
California, Arizona, Oklahoma, all the states.
Anything with an A.
Nevada, that's another one. Soon, Michigan.
Georgia.
Canada is next.
Canada.
Yeah, in the next 90 days, I think we go to Canada. But it's fireweed. Anyway, back to this. What has he brought to the world? I used to fuck with Tim Hortons in a big bad way. I love me some Timbits. I used to buy them.
So good.
Bought 1,000 Timbits when I worked on Flash. My first or second episode of Flash, I went into Tim Hortons. I was like, give me 1,000 Timbits. We brought them in. We like set them up and shit. We had so many Timbits. They were throwing them at each other, the cast, at the end of the day. So I've always been a bit.
Dare you? What a waste of Timbits.
Oh, nobody said they were wasted, Ralph. Don't forget, there are dogs up there. And dogs love Timbits too.
Good point.
Especially the ones that fall on the floor. So I've always been a fan of Timmy's, as they say. However, since I've went vegan, very little opportunity to interact with Timmy's, as their vegan selection is woefully underrepresented.
So you don't care about the Tim Biebs?
Is that what they're calling it?
Yes.
They didn't want to do a second draft of that?
Nope. Tim Biebs.
I guess it makes sense.
Does it?
But if you could pour all over them Tim Biebs is scissor.
Here are the flavors created according to lore by the Biebs himself. Chocolate white fudge.
No.
Sour cream chocolate chip.
No.
And birthday cake waffle.
The fuck?
None of this story sounds good to me at all.
This kid can't even get fucking donuts right.
Right? How hard is that?
You know what? To be fair, tough to come up with new donut flavors.
Is it?
I don't know. Bust me. Here, fucking go. Come up with one. Show me you're better than Bieber without showing me you're better than Bieber.
Really hot 20-year-old urine donuts.
That's a rarefied market, Ralph.
I've had experience. I'm telling you, there's a flavor to be had there.
It's really tough to communicate on an order board.
I suppose.
And just think of the poor Postmates driver has to bring that to you. And
Tim Peas.
Tim Peas. Wow. Justin Bieber continues to get wealthy. You and I struggling as per usual.
Yeah, I know. He's right.
He's getting money from Timbits. I'm spending money on Timbits, but not on the ones he's making. Those flavors don't appeal to me at all. And again, none of them are vegan. Now, you tell me the story where he's like, Biebs is bringing the first plant-based Timbit to the table. Then I'm like, this kid's a national fucking hero as far as I'm concerned.
You
didn't do that. Thought of himself first. His silly.
How quick you are to change allegiances.
I'm aligned to Plant Nation, my friend. They saved my life. And since, there are very few fun things to eat in Plant Nation, a fucking Timbit or two would be nice. Fuck. We got like 80 different flavors. Can't have one or two for the vegans. And frying shit is very vegan. You get a lot of it's fried and it's vegan.
That's how they mask the flavor.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Let me tell you something. I've never been more jealous of Justin Bieber than hearing that Tim Hortons is like, invent a donut for us, eh? Why don't you come on in and invent a donut for us, eh? Come on, come into Timmy's and have a donut with us and invent a donut.
And yet sour cream chocolate chip was where he went. So fail. Hey, you brought up Flash real quick. How did you feel about the finale of Supergirl?
Bittersweet. I mean, I understood, it's time to move on and whatnot.
I thought you might.
But it was, that was a very lovely family up there. And you got to remember, this is a show that kind of like the character she played, she went on a bit of a journey. She didn't start life as a CW show. That was a fucking CBS show that was shooting in Los Angeles. And she was coming off of Glee, Melissa. So, after one season here in Los Angeles, they're like, we're moving the show to CW and it's going to go shoot in Vancouver. And, she wasn't like, I didn't fucking sign up for that. Like, she went to Canada for the next 5 years. Mercifully, she found true love up there. That's where she met Woody and stuff. And now they're family. They're married. They got kid. So it all works out and stuff. But never once did she fight it or and some people why should she? She's having a job. When maybe if somebody had told her at the beginning, if you like this, you may have to go to Canada for this job. Maybe she wouldn't have gone. You know what I'm saying? Not that she has anything against Canada, but when you're on a show like that, you live in a concrete fucking block for 8 to 9 months out of the year. Never get to go home to your true home. You get to go to your local home at best, and no time really to go home on the weekends and stuff. And again, it's like, I'm sure some people don't feel bad for them. They're making a lot of money. Yeah, but when the ride started, she wasn't told you're going to be doing the ride in Canada. And as number one on a show, you set the tone. So she could have went up north and been like, I don't even want to fucking be here. I signed up to be on an American fucking show. And instead, she was always so goddamn lovely and meant everyone else had to be lovely as well. So they were such a great family up there. And, you know, I'll miss the opportunity to go and play with them. It was an honor to be able to jump into their world. And it's such a well-organized world that even an idiot like me couldn't fuck up the episodes that he worked on. And I got some of my best reviews in my career for those Supergirl episodes. Like even considering like the movies I've made and stuff, still a lot of people like that stuff. And Melissa on recently on like a look back special, I think during the DC Thunderdome or whatever fuck
Fandom.
She talked about like her favorite episode was the one we did with the moon, you know, where we left the planet for the first time. We teleported to the controversially named Slaver's Moon, and that involved Mon-El, and you know she fell in love with.
She dug that dude.
Yeah, he's charming. Fuck, he's a tough dude. Not to. I'm telling you, the world has missed it. Maybe not missed its opportunity. It's still fucking time, but that dude. That is Fletch. That is who fucking Gregory McDonald wrote about when he wrote the series of Fletch books. It wasn't like somebody like, you know, standard looking like Chevy Chase or whatever. The Fletch character is fucking gorgeous. That's why he gets laid like fucking constantly. And he's charming and funny as fuck. So that's Chris Wood to a T, man. He's charming, funny as fuck. And who wouldn't have sex with this dude? Like, luckily she locked him down and stuff. So I always thought he would have made a great Fletch.
Well, get to work.
I don't have it. Belongs to somebody else.
Go get it.
Jason Sudeikis was supposed to do it.
Oh, really?
That
he's busy with something else right now.
No doubt. And he should stay committed to that. Ted Lasso should be his life's work. It's
You're darn tootin', Vladimir Putin.
Beautiful, beautiful show.
I agree.
What else we got?
That's it. I got to roll. I got to bounce.
The fuck?
I got a Ralph report to prep for tomorrow morning.
This is how dedicated that guy is.
I put my time in, son.
He really does. The Ralph Report.com, is that where they can go to join up?
Yeah, or you go to patreon.com/the Ralph Report. Take you directly to where you need to go to hear me 5 days a week in your ear holes.
That Kevin Smith Club is another place you could go to.
Indeed.
I don't do 5 days a week. I mean, what the fuck?
I got to hustle, son. I'm not like you. I don't have big ideas with a big universe behind me. I'm just a squirrel looking for a nut.
You and me both. Speaking of Melissa Benoist, she wrote this book with her sister. How sweet is that?
That's adorable.
She's doing it like this is like her first post Supergirl book, The Powers, Haven's Secret. Melissa Benoist and Jessica Benoist with Mariko Tamaki. You know, like a Harry Potter book kind of thing. Kid, you know,
YA action.
Thank you. I was looking for the term without being dismissive. YA. She's so lovely. I was sad to see the show end, but also I understand, like, you know, she probably wants to go be a mom for a while.
Sure. And sometimes I think those shows are best served with a ending to them. Sometimes they can go on a little bit too long.
No doubt. No doubt. I was lucky to be involved for as long as I was there, man. I shipped Mellywood very hard. I love those kids.
Good for you.
All right, man. Fucking look at that. Some Babble-On action for the first time in a long time. Brought to a screeching halt by fucking Father Time, who's like, I'm old.
I have to work more after this work, is what I'm saying.
Ringo.
I don't go just smoke pot on my balcony and just look down on the peons.
Fucking Ebenezer Scrooge forgetting that when he was a young man, he was beloved and fucking you get figgy pudding and shit like that. Now he's just counting his fucking coins, telling Bob Cratchit to fuck off. Not giving him a health plan, and clearly his kid could use it and shit like that.
I am Bob Cratchit. I'm my own Bob Cratchit. I come in and I force myself to work in ridiculous circumstances with no time off.
You're Scrooge and Bob Cratchit.
I am. Yeah.
Very strange company.
I'm my own Scrooge.
That poor fucking befuddled adoption of yours. That's fucking Tiny Tim right there. Broken Poor fucking thing.
Reggie's with the X. Wherever the kid goes, the X goes. That's why the kid and the dog are with the X right now. So I'm a free man tonight, which means I can pee in my backyard and then get back to work.
Without the dog being like, wait, you too?
This is mine.
Like,
This is my patch.
Ownership, bro.
That's right.
Great Ralph Garman, ladies and gentlemen. You can find him over there at the Ralph Report and stuff. And we're going to figure out, you heard the man himself. He's out there beating the fucking bushes to find our new Babble-On home. And once we got it, maybe it's, what is it called? Flappers? Flippers? Flappers? Is that what it was?
Yes, flappers. Flippers is where Winter the Dolphin performed last before she died.
Flippers. She hated that fucking place. She's like, not all of us have flippers, you fucks.
Yeah.
Where is Flappers?
Burbank.
Okay.
Well, you sound crestfallen. Burbank's a perfectly lovely town.
I love Burbank. I'm just trying to get a picture in my head. I keep confusing it with that place that's on Lancashire. What's that? The Ha Ha Hut or whatever.
The Ho Ho Land. Ho Ho Hotel. I don't know.
The Chuckle Palace. The Chuckle Hut.
Sure laughs a lot.
Kids, regardless, we're going to figure out a date, get some live Babble-On going right here in the Hollywood area. You can double fist some fucking Babble, man.
And then we'll put it out to the world the way we do.
Commit to some New Year's Eve action, or you got something to do on New Year's Eve?
No, if we can find a venue, I'll do New Year's with you. That's our thing, right?
How's the time to find a venue? I'll be honest with you. I asked my wife yesterday, like, the kid moved out. Kid bought her own house and moved out. She lives in Laurel Canyon now.
What?
Can you believe it? My child rearing days are over, and thank God, because that word always fucking bummed me out anyway. But she's on her own now. She's a grown-ass adult and stuff. I was just hanging out with her. We went shopping and shit. It was cute, but she got her own place. Point is,
empty nester.
That's the point. This place is fucking empty, bro. And Byron and Gail went to Nevada for a spell, so it's just like me and fucking Jen. So we got that giant ass living room and shit.
Yeah.
I stayed at Schwabach yesterday. I say, hey man, like, what if we, like, since nobody's ever here anymore, what if I took the upstairs and turned it into like $100 a ticket fucking show place? Because we could fit like 100 people up there. Bro, I got shut down so fucking fast.
I can only imagine. It's your home.
I honestly thought, like, she's been empty nesting it so hard. I thought she might be like, oh my God, I'll take 100 strangers into the house. Absolutely. But 100.
It's your home. It's not a theater.
Well, you can't charge $100 to fucking go see me at a theater. Like, you're charging them $100 because it's just your house. 100 seats times $100. Do the math. What is that?
That is $10,000.
I wouldn't even have to leave my house, bro. I could be doing a $10,000 a night show without leaving the comfort of my own home. All she would have to do is tolerate 100 strangers in her house.
That's all.
They can come up the side steps if that's
right. And they have your home address and they know where you live. That sounds fine. That's such a great idea.
Anybody can find me. This is the internet. You can fucking Zoom me, go on Google and find my house and shit because of Google Earth. The guy, I remember the day the Google Earth fucking Google Maps guy drove past or whatever the fuck. Like, I saw the vehicle. I was like, I was fucked up. And for the longest time, in front of my house, across the street from my house, if you were doing that street view, you would see me sitting in the car wearing one of those jerseys looking to the left. So I'm findable is my point. Might as well fucking exploit it. I was like, the problem with doing a show, remember when we started our show at Smodcastle?
I do.
No booze at Smodcastle because we didn't have a liquor license.
For me, there was booze in the back for me, but not for the audience.
There's always booze where Ralph is. But if we did it at my house, then I'm the bar as well, bro. And I don't need no liquor license because they're all guests and shit at my house. And we're charging, we're putting them drinks up at premium prices and shit. No minimums, no like 2-drink minimum shit. You can buy what you want, but pricey like when you go to a club. Oh my God.
Right.
$100 ticket, 100-seat house, Kev's living room. You're doing a goddamn show. We're doing Babble-On in the comfort of my own home. The neighbors are like, shut the fuck up.
So you want to turn your house into a speakeasy, basically.
I mean, what's left? I've done a lot of other things in my career. That sounds like it'd be fun for a while. Is that illegal? Can I sell booze at my house?
No.
What if I gave it away? What if it was a membership thing where everybody joined for one night and it was a private club?
Yes, make it a swingers club, and then everyone has to buy a membership.
None of your piss games at my fucking house, dude. I know you're fascinated.
Oh, that's where you draw the line.
That's the girl. You're so fascinated with this girl. Next time we do a live show, you're gonna be like, who the fuck wants a face full of it? My bladder is full. And you're gonna find out so quickly that unless you're like an attractive young woman, nobody wants a face full.
And you know me, when I gotta go.
This is a guy who's left the show. Like left me on stage to go fucking piss. Mercifully came back 10 minutes later after he got his gigantic balls back in his pants and shit. But yeah, he'll go. If you get him 2 drinks past his fucking minimum, he'll definitely do it. What was her name? Sophia Eurista. Ralph Eurista.
I could blow someone off the stage with my PSI.
Sophia Eurista, the urine barista. Fair enough to say that?
I believe that's her official moniker now. Yes, that's her media tag.
It's the dirtiest dad joke of the night, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we should bring it all to an end. Did you have a good time tonight, ladies and gentlemen?
I know I did.
Yeah, I did as well. If you did, it was only because that dude sitting over there which direction is it? Let me see.
This way.
Oh, it's the other way.
Yeah.
It's only because of this guy who I'm jerking off to the side right there. Stand up and put your dick to the side of the screen. That's not your dick, you fool. You'd have to stand up.
Oh,
so it looked
okay.
like I'd be jerking you off. And now put your wieners close to the. Yeah. All right. Let me get closer. Yeah. Now that's. That's physical comedy right there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That's why you watch this shit on the internet.
That's right. Can't do that in a live show.
Give it up for the great Ralph Garman, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's hear from my bestest buddy and Babble brother, Mr. Kevin Smith.
And that is Hollywood Babble-On for this evening. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Ralph Garman.
Tune in next. Wait.
You all right?
I'm going to babble the fuck off.
There
Good
it
night,
is.
Hollywood.
This is the cat.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything.
Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,